Good morning. Thank you all for coming. Another sad day in Pickens County. We're here to announce the arrest of Kasey Waldrop in the murder of Reza Farah Khan. And you have all the information, correct spelling and everything, I trust. On Sunday morning, February 21st, a couple days ago, approximately 3:30 a.m., a gunshot was heard around the Saluda Lake boat ramp area. Later in the morning, about 8:45, two fishermen showed up to go fishing, as they normally do on that day, and noticed a body on the end of the short dock there at the boat ramp, Combined Utilities boat ramp. Upon further investigation, that was the body of Reza Farah Khan. The investigation began at that time and was a 36-hour cycle, day and night, to find the killer of Miss Khan. Today we're announcing, you have the warrants and everything, we're announcing the arrest of Kasey Clayton Waldrop, 22 years of age, for murder, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and grand larceny. Also, Greenville County has charged him with possession of a weapon by a felon. And all this is related to Miss Khan's death, and she was 35 years old. Miss Khan was a mother of 4 children. That's what makes this so tragic. And it's hard to believe that a life can be taken by some of the stuff and some of the evil that we see today in our society. And it bothers us greatly for that. And our prayers and our thoughts and our hopes for her children are with them and the Khan family. And we're going to do everything we can to support the Khan family during this awful event. Evidence suggests that Miss Khan was driven to the boat ramp and she was killed on the boat ramp. Yesterday, detectives tracked down Mrs. Khan's car. That's where the grand larceny charge came from, over in Greenville County. And during the investigation on scene there, Kasey Waldrop showed up. After a short foot chase, he was chased down and arrested in relation to this crime and the charges that you see here. Also, during that investigation, a gun was recovered out of the car, out of Miss Khan's car, that matched the caliber of bullet that Miss Khan was shot with. At this time, there is no clear motive of why this happened. We're still investigating that to see why or what happened that would bring about this tragedy. Kasey Waldrop, we believe, will be arraigned this afternoon. You'll be notified. We think he'll be arraigned at the Liberty Magistrate, 310 West Main Street in Liberty. And we'll keep you updated on that. But we want to stress, we believe there's no threat to the community, in around Saluda or anywhere around Pickens County. We believe we have arrested all the actors in this as far as the safety to others. We're still investigating. We're still pursuing some charges on a couple other people. But as far as a threat to the community, we believe that we've taken care of that in this case. And so, but we want to stress that there's no threat to the community at this time. And with our arrest yesterday, we believe we took care of that threat. One thing I do want to talk about is our investigators. Overworked and underpaid is usually what you hear about police officers nowadays, and that's very true. But over the past 36 hours, and on a lot of cases, we see this on a daily basis, where they go out there a 24-hour cycle to do what needs to be done to protect our citizens and get people like Mr. Kasey off the streets, and admirable work that they've done. But what we've tried to do as administration here is make their job a little easier. And that came into play over the past couple of days. First thing was technology that we had. We brought a portable fingerprint scanner out to the scene and probably saved us 6 to 8 hours on identifying Miss Khan. And you ask, what does that matter? Well, that gave us a head start and a jump on what needed to be done for investigation. That's like an extra 6 hours that gave us. We identified her on the scene through new technology with a portable fingerprint reader. That is huge in a matter of time. If you watch some of the TV shows, you see them start clicking the clock. Well, that we made the clock a little bit better for our detectives by that technology. Tremendous asset that we've got, and we plan to expand that. Secondly was our ability now to keep up with technology on cell phones, to dive into cell phones and see what information and what evidence is there, and also working under court order for both searching phones and the data that these cell towers keep. Tremendous technology, takes a lot of training and a lot of effort and a lot of equipment to do that, but we're ahead of the game from a lot of places across the country, and we're proud of that, to give our investigators the tools they need to wrap up murder cases this quickly. So every little bit helps on that. So, but we're very proud of what we're doing to get our detectives the things that they need to move forward and take care of the cases that they get. But it all comes down to quality of people, and we have great people here at the Sheriff's Office, and you see that today as quickly as this murder was solved. We still have a lot of investigation to do to wrap it up and make it a good case for our solicitor, and we're working together with them also. So, that is the basics of the case. The car, I think, will be available to you out at the impound lot. You'll see where it's been spray painted, again trying to cover up evidence and cover up what they did. Questions?
Yes, do you know the connection between Waldrop and the victim?
All we have now is some type of friendship or some type of acquaintance. We're digging into that, but there's nothing outside of that we know of.
And you said that he is charged in Greenville for being a felon in possession of a weapon.
Weapon, yes.
What was that previous felony conviction, do you know?
We haven't had a chance to go through his full criminal history yet, so we don't know that at this time.
Sheriff, how quickly was Mr. Waldrop developed as your prime suspect, and I guess the Greenville County Sheriff's deputies, how did they take him into custody? Did he go peacefully?
Well, our detectives were actually over there at the scene. They went to find they found the car through some more great detective work, and while they were at Ms. Khan's car, Mr. Waldrop showed up, and after a short foot pursuit by our detectives, that's when he was taken into custody.
Where was the car?
Apartment behind Greenville. I don't have an exact.
It's over in the West Greenville area near Walmart on Walrus Road. Okay. I don't know the exact name of the apartment complex.
Now, you briefly mentioned that you're still looking to some other folks. Are we looking at knowledge after the fact, or were they possibly involved beforehand, or do we have that?
We've still delved into that. We think it may be both. So that's what we're still looking into, and trying to get the whole scene hours before it happened, maybe even days. What in the world could have happened to bring, we'll call them friends now, to come to this tragic end? And so that's still an ongoing investigation.
Now, witness statements are listed in here. The shot that was heard at 3:30 in the morning, I'm assuming that's a resident in the area?
Yes, on the lake, yes. But there's only one shot, so it wasn't repeated, so just the one shot, that's all that's reported.
So did Mr. Waldrop have the gun with him?
The gun was recovered inside the car.
That he vacated from?
Yeah, that he got out,
okay,
he ran from.
Up in the vehicle that's sitting out here, that was sitting there, and he came up in a different one.
Came up in a different vehicle?
He arrived at the apartment complex in a different vehicle. Ms. Khan's car was at the apartment complex, and he came in.
And the handgun was still in her car?
The handgun was in...
It was in the second vehicle he rode up in while our deputies are processing the car.
Okay, so he literally had it dispossessed.
He possessed the gun as he drove up with it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
So
thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, what did the folks do that dropped him off, or did they just speed off, or what? What happened when he showed up in a different car?
Everybody was detained there. Okay. Now, we, of course, had charges on Mr. Waldrop, and the other people involved we're still looking at. That's part of our investigation.
Yeah, how many are there?
1 to 2 right now. We're just looking to see where it leads us.
Have you had a chance to speak to the Khan family, let them know that this man's under arrest?
Yes, they have been notified. I haven't been personally able to speak with them, but they have been notified.
And I mean, how satisfied are you to be able to deliver that news to them so quickly?
Well, I think it's the first step in helping and healing. We talk about closure, but when there's somebody out there that you could still be scared of just because you're a part of the friend or the family or something, and they're in jail now, and that gives them at least a little sense of peace of not having to look over their back or shoulders and see what's going on. So.
Do you have any personal information about this time, married, children?
As I mentioned before, she has 4 children, and that's all we know about her. We understand she was gainfully employed. Everything that's coming up about her is just very normal. Just very good person, normal, that we know of so far. So it's hard to understand.
Any cell phone contacts, calls, texts between the two?
We're not going to get into the depth of that yet. We really hadn't finished it all. There's been so much to go through. So, and another thing that we've done is, as you see, is paid off today. We created a 3-man homicide team. We got them to advanced training. They've been working well together, And these three have literally, at least one of them, usually all three of them have been up since this started. Arrived on the scene together, and this is really paying off on what we've done to get three good people with advanced training and several days of training just a few months ago that we sent them to, and prepare them for the normal homicides and then the things that takes a little bit more investigation, a little bit more complex.
At this point, you said you're not really sure what the motive was, so it's quite possible that the fact he had the automobile was for no other reason than he had to take one vehicle out to that lake and then take that vehicle back.
Yes.
At this point, you don't even know if the vehicle, stealing the vehicle, was the purpose.
No.
Anything else reported missing? Money, jewelry, valuables, nothing?
No, not at this time. So that's why we're, you know, as far as we know, the relationship had been fine, and we're going to try to find out exactly what turned it.
The cell phone records that you mentioned in probable cause, is that leading you to believe that they did know each other?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Was Ms. Khan's family familiar with him?
We haven't completed that part of the investigation yet, so I don't know how much they knew about him.
As far as their residence go, I mean, how close did they live to one another? I mean, Townville, and he lived in Greenville, correct?
Yes, one of his
That's where
addresses.
his residence is listed as is Waverly in Greenville, right?
I think that's his last location. He's lived at multiple locations, in and out of Pickens County and Greenville County.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not sure of his, he's had so many residents, we're not sure of his last residence. Okay. As far as since today. We found out where she works, so yeah, we're looking at everything. So
using the fingerprint scanner on her at the scene, she didn't have any purse. Did she have any phone on her or any other way to identify her there?
No, there's nothing else to identify her there at that time. Yeah, it was just her by herself with no purse or anything else.
Any drugs, alcohol suspected, or?
No tox report, but I was there, nothing obvious as far as any type of anything else around her.
And Mr. Waldrop, you guys had said he's lived in and out of Greenville and Pickens.
Yes.
Are you guys familiar with him beyond charges? I mean.
Yes, so I should have mentioned he was out on bond with Pickens County for grand larceny.
When did that happen?
Was that?
2015 sometime.
Yeah, several months ago.
Stolen cars, the same thing?
We didn't look up the exact. Yeah, but it was a grand larceny, so.
And when did you actually make the physical arrest? When was that done?
That was done yesterday evening or afternoon evening when he came back to the car.
Roughly right after supper time, 7:30, that time frame.
Yeah, about 7 p.m.
So were you guys hiding, or did he not notice police were there and just walked up?
They were in the process of investigating the car that had been found, and he came up, and I don't know exactly which point they saw each other, but after a short foot pursuit, he was arrested.
But how long did that last?
Very short, less than a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we understand Mr. Waldrop had tried to spray paint or do something with the car to change its appearance?
Yes, when you see it up there, it'll be self-explanatory when you see it. Yes, sir. Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate y'all, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.